When it comes to talking, these four can do it better than most. Welcome to the Final Word Podcast, where our hosts will share their unique perspectives on social issues, youth sports, and sports in general. And now, meet our esteemed panelist, Joe Philon, youth basketball coach and self-proclaimed media guy. Chris Ward, co-founder of the Skills Center and development specialist for Skills Center Elite Training. John Arayo, co-founder of the Skills Center and director of Skills Center Elite Basketball. Andre Lewis, high school basketball coach and the Skills Center high school basketball coordinator. This is the Final Word.
Show them handles, baby. Show them handles, baby.
Yo. So John, I'm sorry. I apologize, bro, for these as long as I've known you, bro, which is almost 20 years. I apologize. I've been spelling your name wrong and pronouncing.
No, I think they spelled my name wrong, but it's all good.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry about it though. But I'm gonna start calling you John. Roy don't spell wrong.
They forgot my H, dog. They forgot my H.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hey,
It's all good.
his name Jones.
Don't.
Hey, what's up, Jones?
But you see, I want the world and the kids to know we live right now, man. That's how much confidence you gotta have. They made me a little shorter than what I really am, but it's all good, baby. I tell Jennifer all the time, man. I said, look, I never feel like the smallest dude. I walk in the gym with all y'all and I feel like we're the same height. And then I come home and look at pictures and I'm like, God damn, I'm small.
Hey, yeah, I figured that out this summer when you could be in the huddle with your fourth grade team. Hey, like what John?
You should have seen me last night with the ninth graders.
All right, guys. So, hey, this is our new podcast, man. It's no longer open run. It's now the final word. So we'll see who gets the final word at the end. So we're gonna revamp things and start over from scratch, man. And we're gonna start bringing some guests on and get back to our roots. We're gonna get to a point where we're doing this live and in person. No more of the Zoom.
Yeah.
So we're gonna evolve. All right, so let's jump right in because I know, guys, we got some people that got to get up early in the morning. So we're not gonna keep everybody too long. We're gonna stick to program, as they say in the church.
That's it.
All right, so all right, Chris, what are we talking about today?
Man, I felt we should have a conversation since we're going into fall ball. We just finished the summer, so I felt we should talk about development of players or development of plays. What should coaches be focusing on right now? What should kids be focusing on? Should they be focusing on the development of the players, getting them ready for the season, as far as having them fundamentally sound, having them prepared, being able to make a left-hand layup, right-hand layup, make good decisions, knock down an open jumper, or should they be working on their plays, getting ready for their season, for their plays and stuff like that? So I think that's always been I shouldn't say a concern of mine, but a conversation that is always should be had based on it. When kids have a chance to get better.
What you think, Dre?
I think it plays hand in hand. I know me, for instance, is big on development, and the system basically that I run is a wide open system. So as you're developing, it's teaching you the fundamentals of the game, and it's also teaching you how to play half-court basketball with passing and cutting and setting screens and things of that nature. As far as making decisions on, based on your skill set, what you can do and what you cannot do. But it all transitions into the drills that you're running all the way up into those fundamental needs in that basketball situation play.
I say this. sometimes like we have a set, not all season, but we have a set cutoff for our travel ball. And then we go into continue to train or whatever, or playing in rec leagues or playing fall leagues and things like that. But there are some people that say, look, the heck with it. I mean, there's still tournaments going on. I don't think AAU basketball has stopped. And I don't truly agree with it. Like people think, I mean, we get invited all the time. Hey, we got a tournament here, but man, we finished in July. We cut it off. Our kids played in summer league. Now we got some of our kids playing in fall league, but it's also to prepare them for the high school. But as far as what is now, what should we do now? It is developing your skills, sharpening your skills. Because at the end of the day, when you come back to your team, whether you're going to middle school, high school, whatever, or travel ball, you know, you want to be better than you was last year. Some parents don't see that. Some coaches don't see that. They just want to play the same way they always play and not better their, you know, individuality that can bring something to the team. So that's my opinion. I truly believe now is the time to develop.
So do you guys think that when you're in the gym, working on that skill work, working on some new things, sharpening those tools, do you guys think that you need to put those skills that you learn in the game situation so that you can kind of, see where you're at or fine tune those skills?
I'm biased to that situation because it just depends on what skills you're teaching. Because some kids want to bypass the fundamentals and go straight to the Kyrie and Jane Harden type game, in which that basically slows the game down. And I know that's kind of what things are trending to those elite guys. But those elite guys have a special kind of skill set, and they have a high IQ as far as how the game is supposed to be played. But when you have kids that you are developing that need that fundamental background, and everything else will take care of itself. So it just depends on. Some people have those teaching, all these one-on-one moves so they can get their game up, and they're skipping over the fundamentals.
I agree, and with Dre. For me, I think you got to always work on your game, your individual game, but it's also work on the basic stuff. Like Chris is always saying, hey, can you make a left-hand leg? Can you one dribble pull up? Can you do this? Can you do that? So I agree with that. But I also agree with, you got to put it in a game situation as well, because those cones, they don't move. So when you're doing all them moves and then you get into a game situation and you try that move, but then the defender moves or the help comes, you got to learn to react. So I like both, but some people don't do both. Some people just play. And then when they go to train, they may train so slow. They may train so, not aggressive. They don't get no sweat in. So the training is null and void. But I agree with you. Got to work on your game as hard as possible in the sense of when you're working out, and then tie it into a scrimmage, tie it into a fall league, tie it into a rec league, so you can see if your team's not playing. But some people do either one or the other, and I think you should do both.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Joe.
Oh, you got it. Go ahead.
No, so when I was at Hillsborough, I would never coach during the fall league. And the reason why I didn't want to coach during the fall league, because I didn't want to get caught up in the team aspect. I didn't want to get caught up in the team situation and worried about more winning. So I would sit at the end of the bench, or I wouldn't sit on the bench, and I would just watch. And the reason for that is because it would give me an idea of who needed to work on what, where we needed to work. As far as you see those guys in the warm-up lines, you get to the right hand, they balling out. You get to the left hand, they still using their right hand on the left side. The whole team. I'm like, man, them brothers ain't been working. Them sisters ain't been working on their game. Like it shouldn't look like that. Everything should be transferable. So this part of the year, for me, at all times, I would just focus on skill development. If I had kids that couldn't shoot the ball consistently, guess what we were doing? We were working on shooting the ball consistently. If I had people that couldn't shoot handle the ball, with confidence, guess what we were doing? We were doing a lot of handling the ball. If I had folks that couldn't get to the basket and finish around the basket, guess what we were doing? We were doing 30 minutes a day of the mic and drill. Like, I would actually prepare my training or create my training to, or my practices for the kids and what they needed. Not what the team needed, because, well, I shouldn't say that. So, because the team gonna need that. We're gonna need to make layups. We're gonna need to, I ain't say work on threes. We're gonna need to knock down the mid-range shot consistently. We're gonna need to be able to handle the ball and take care of the ball, at least to where you feel confident to make good decisions while handling that basketball, make something happen. So if you don't have that in place, you can't have a good team. You're not gonna win. And if you do win, you're just gonna win in the area. Once you get outside the area, it's gonna be hurt.
Yeah, so Dre mentioned that these kids are looking at James Harden, Westbrook, Kyrie, and they trying to do all that stuff. I mean, I've seen it before, but see, it's so unfortunate. I think that they're trying to pattern their game after those guys, because those guys are the top 1% of the top 1%. Like, what the kids need to do is go look at video of James Harden when he played in college, and look at how he played in college. Go look at Westbrook, how he played in college. Go look at Kyrie, how he played in college. They had to be able to get to that point. These guys are making $40 million a year now. What does the coach go say to them? They pretty much got the coach by their balls. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what they mean by the top 1% of that top 1%. Like, for them to get to that point, they didn't play that way starting out. They're looking at that end result, that final resort of players. And I tell people this story all the time. When the Raptors was here, and the road team always practices at Tampa Prep. They go get their shoot around there, and when the Nets were in town, they stayed over an extra day. And Coach Finley sent word out that the gym would be open for them to come and get shoot around, so they can come and shoot around. It was one player who showed up. That one player was James Harden. And JoJo snuck in the back door and went in the locker room, and it was kind of sneaky. He filmed a little bit of it. And he said, man, that dude was working on his stuff, all that stuff that he does. He said he was doing that stuff over and over again. And you know what I'm saying? And that man's making $40 million a year. He got to keep that bag coming. You know what I'm saying? But for him to get to that point, he did not play like that, man. The kids need to stop watching that final result and look at what path this guy took to get there. Just like in corporate America. If I see one of our CEOs that came up through the company that I work for, I'm gonna look at that career path that he took and try to mirror that to get. I'm not gonna look at just him at the top and be like, okay, I want to be the CEO. I need to look at the career path that he took and try to mirror that. That's what the kids really need to be doing.
It's funny. It's funny you said that though. Like they want to do the Euro step. They want to do the behind the back, through the legs, floater. But they practice that constantly, and they also practice counters, and they also practice, okay, in this situation. So in the NBA, mistaken me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the sets are the same for a lot of teams. So they know what's coming. They know, but this is them studying. Our kids, or not our kids, but just kids in general, think that, oh yeah, when I go down fast break, I'm finna do the spin move. Not understanding that that guy may guard the spin move. So don't make up your mind right away. But you want to put that in the highlight tape so bad that you've been working on it, so I'm gonna use it. You got to know when to use it. You got to know how to use it. Right, exactly. So that's the thing. So and I agree with Chris too when he says, like, when you said you didn't coach in the fall league. Like this summer, I had Tyson coach a team. I had you coach my team in the summer league, and I did that for two reasons: A, I want to take a break, and B, I wanted them to hear another voice. And a lot of the times, the things that Tyson was telling them, the things that you were telling them, I was telling them. But some of the parents and the kids would think I was getting on them. So it's good to hear somebody else's voice saying the same thing, because they get numb to your coach. Like they get numb to a dad that's telling their kid over and over again. So that's sometimes a good thing. But I truly believe that work on your game, but understand the game. That's the thing, the problem. You're working on the move, but you're not really understanding the IQ of the game. And I think that's what's really missing in our game these days.
And that's because them kids, they don't.
But there's so much to do
with my kids a lot. I mean, just in an aspect, like if we're get in trap. Like I got a couple freshmen that are in now. They're struggling because of the speed of the game is different, but they don't understand if your guys getting trapped, come and help. Like, everybody still standing out and watch. So an analogy I use is, if that's your homeboy and y'all out and he getting jumped on, I say basically if this guy getting trapped, he getting beat up.
Right.
Is you gonna sit back over there and let him get beat up, or you gonna come and help? And I say you just gotta. I'm just giving you a different lens to think about things so you can understand what I'm saying. So just picture this as a fight, and this is your homeboy getting beat up. Are you gonna stand over there and let him get beat up? Or you gonna come and help him?
I agree with that, Dre.
They start picking up on it, but these kids don't study the game enough.
Hey, next time we see Strawberry Crest play and a kid is trapped and some kid come off the bench and knock somebody out, you know where they got it from.
Hey,
No, but
go ahead, Chris.
But that's what I'm talking about as far as skill development, because you have a lot of kids, they play competitive sports. And when you're playing competitive sports, you're not trying to work unless you're just that good. Like if you're an elite kid, then you're just working on things that you need to work on to get better. But if you're a kid that's struggling, or you're a kid that's struggling with your left hand, or struggling with a mid-range jumper, when do you get a chance to really focus and work on that? So I think sometimes it's up to us as coaches or us as developers to show them how to implement that to the game. Not just make it to where they're just doing it right now, but there's transferable skills to make sure that everything that we do is intentional. All right, make sure that spin move is intentional. It's not thought. It's not a thought. It's a reaction or a response. And so if kids don't work on these things over and over and over and over and over again, when do they get a chance? Some kids don't know how to work. Some kids know they need to work on their left hand, but they don't know how to work on their left hand. Know they need to work in the mid-range. They don't know how to work on the mid-range. There's a lot of things that kids need to work on. They just don't know how to work on because they go to YouTube and they watch games and they see these guys that are already there doing this on a whole nother, I'm talking about levels that far exceeds conversation. And then they go out and try to do that. That's okay, but they don't have a foundation.
Right.
I've watched teams, and I usually when I coach, I wouldn't pay attention to one thing our kids were doing. I would watch teams and I would watch and see how prepared they were. And based on that, that's how I would feel about the game. And they left hand layup. I mean, they ain't using it. Man, look, I'm looking at them like, listen, we pushing their ass left today. Everything going left. If you don't push them left when you ain't playing. Like that's how I view things. And I saw it as kids weren't prepared. You know, the coaches didn't do a good job preparing them, because if a kid is playing varsity basketball, 16, 17, 18 years old, and they're still struggling to jump off their right foot, finish with their left hand, that's an issue. Jump right hand, that issue. You know, so you know, I this time should be used.
Chris on that dial up, baby.
Yeah, your connection rough, bro.
Go grab the antenna, turn Lisa to hold the aluminum tighter.
Did it go?
Put some aluminum foil on there. Put some aluminum foil on the antenna, man.
You on pause, dog. You gotta move.
Oh yeah. Hey, tell somebody to stick their arm out the one to turn their antenna.
Hey, but you know, like for example, like John has you know, he has 11 of our 9 of our freshmen, 2 of our 8th graders that are playing with John in the XBL Summer League, the Issa Bucket Summer League, Fall League, excuse me. And our boys have been, you know, getting their skill work in, but I think it's very important for them to get used to playing at that speed, that high school speed. Just like Dre mentioned, me and Dre talked about it earlier. I know some of the parents were a little bent out of shape. Whose idea was it to have all freshmen playing against these high school boys, seniors or whatever? And you know, but it's not about the win. We get so caught up in the win, and you know, now as a competitor, as a coach, John being a competitor, he wants to win. He's going to be passionate about it. He's going to try to get the W. But that's not what it's all about. It's about them getting used to playing at that speed because they're about to move into a high school ranks. And I think about, myself, and I always try to talk off of experience, but myself, when Deion Thomas came to my house, he was the mailman. He came and he put me on his Riverfront League team. And it took me a while to get used to playing at that speed. Most of them guys are playing pro ball. I had Fred Lewis and Denzel Rush, all them guys, God bless the dead, out there kicking my ass. When I went off the JUCO as a freshman, I was ahead of everybody else because I was already used to playing at that speed. You know what I'm saying? And some of the other guys had to get, caught up. And then I think about when I was at St. Leo and we played Georgetown, that was physical Big East back then. Defensively, I was okay, but I had to get used to play. I needed to get used to playing at that speed. And some of our other guys weren't used to playing at that speed. And, and it showed. So I think it's important for them to play too. It depends on what your situation is. I think the boys transitioning from middle school to high school, I think it's important for them to get their feet wet and get used to, playing at that speed.
No, I agree.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me, dog?
Yeah, you back. Tell Lisa don't move. But nah, I agree, Joe. Not only the speed, but also, accountability. Like high school coaches, they don't play just to play. Like, so it's just accountability. Now we're doing it differently. We got 11 kids, 10 kids. We're subbing 5 in, 5 out for the most part. So we want everybody to play. But at the end of the day, we also want them to compete. We also, switching up things. Like, we played yesterday. Those boys ain't played an organized game since July. They haven't really practiced. I've never coached none of them. So different voice, which also will help them when they get to a high school because that's a different voice. Yeah. So overall, I thought they did well. But the change of the speed, to the point where even the refs may look at you like, bro, chill out. This ain't travel ball. Even though it's always the same ref, but they always view it differently. But I think it is good. And I think they need to take this fall league. And I think that's why it's good, like Joe, you say. I think it's good for them to play. But it's also good. It's even better if they train and play.
Right.
Some people just play. And now you don't know what you're doing. And then some people just train. And now you don't know how to play when the cones are moving. So you got to do both.
So I'm not speaking for all coaches, but I can speak for me because we're actually in the XBL also. But I have 5 kids on there that are from middle school that are playing. We get our workouts in, during the week when we can. But when we come to the XBL, this is your interview. Right. This is your interview for all the stuff, the fundamental stuff that we have worked on to show your fundamental skills in this speed setting. So even though we won, we're looking to compete, but I also want to get those kids some experience of playing at this speed.
Are you using it like a tryout, Dre?
Oh yes, it's a tryout too.
So
that squad next week.
Yeah, and so that's the thing you just hit on it, Dre. That's the thing I'm talking about. Like, you go back from there, you see these kids, and then you get them back in the gym. And I know we used to go we went 3 times a week during the fall, as much as we can get in without, having an issue with anything else. But then you start to focus on, developing those kids based on what you saw in that game. Because once they get that pressure applied to them, then you can see what they need. All right, this boy can't handle the ball, so we need to work on some ball handling. My team don't move the ball well. They don't know how to pass. They don't know how to cut. So we need to do some 5-on-5 with no dribbles or one dribble. And so you start creating an atmosphere to where you're developing kids, not just developing their skill set, but you're developing their basketball IQ. So now they're cutting to the ball. Now they're passing, screening away. Now they're flashing. Now they're slipping. all the stuff they can possibly do, you start developing based on what you see. If you're sitting there coaching and you're trying to win a game over, developing players, you're going to miss all of that. Because the kids that you're going to need, that you're really going to need to help your season go well, man, they're going to be lost in the shuffle because you're trying to win based on the fall league. You're trying to win based on the spring league, the summer league. These are when the kids have a chance to develop, when the kids have a chance to get better.
That's
a big question.
I agree, but also that's why you have conversations after the game too. Because at the end of the day, I mean, Chris, you and I can play a damn game of Scrabble. Bitch, I'm trying to beat you and you trying to beat me. So I understand that can be the focus, but that's why it's good. Like I had a conversation with Joe last night. I had a conversation with Rashif last night because they probably saw things. But even on the bench, and I know y'all do this. I do this all the time. Somebody does a mistake on the floor. I may not yell at the person on the floor. I go back to the bench and not yell at them, but tell them, yo, this is what I need you to do. And they're looking at me like, wait a minute, I'm not on. I didn't make the mistake. But at the end of the day, if you get in there and that happens, now you know before you get in there. So, but the conversation I think is good. That's why you got to have these conversations. But yeah, you're right. Use the fall league, use the summer leagues to get better, not just to win. But it's also like, yes, I think TJ said it on here that, hey, the confidence, it could build confidence. Playing can build confidence. You can train and think you're the best player in the world. But when you go into the game, you got to build that confidence. So now bring that to it. Yesterday, I think we started off a little slow, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we picked it up a little bit. So I think playing brings more confidence, but you got to have the confidence to do what you did in the training. And I think that people forget.
The biggest question for you is, excuse me, how are you going to respond to that next weekend? Are you going to have these kids in the gym getting better? What are you going to do that's going to help them and prepare them for what they saw, what you thought their weaknesses were?
Right.
Hey,
at least it moved again. Chris, I get what you're saying, but move again so we can get you right. But no, I already hit up Rashif and I'm like, look, we got to get a practice in. It's tough because everybody got their own thing. They're in high school now. They got their own thing going on, but we got to get a practice in and you're right, not to win, but to teach them, hey, we rotated this way too much. Yo, when this person drove, just kick it, swing it back. If they're in a zone, we're not dribbling, we're moving the ball. So yeah, no, I agree because what we're trying to do, and I mistake me if I'm wrong, Joe, you wanted us to put this team in so they can prepare themselves for this tryouts for high school and for this first year in high school. That's the ultimate goal. So yes, we got to get together and teach them that in a practice or in a training session.
Absolutely. So let's go to the comments real quick. And Coach Ford said Laz did it as a 9th grader and he handles it. So he agrees. I was at Laz's debut, his first high school game. And I thought he did struggle with the speed of the game in that first game. And I remember Smith saying, yeah, it's high school. Like they moving up, you know what I'm saying? I remember Smith saying that to him. And but then when I saw him, the next time I saw him, he was comfortable. He was playing well. He adjusted. It takes you a little while to get to it. TJ said that he didn't think they were playing as hard as they usually do. I think they were, but I think it was just faster than what they usually used to playing against. You know what I'm saying? It was just because those boys they were playing against, they have high school experience under their belt. They play faster. Like, Spicer, they had Caleb, they had Eric Cole's son, Christian Cole was out there. Those guys can play. Farrell was out there. Them guys played a lot of ball, man, at a high level. So it was faster for them, and they'll get used to it and they'll fare better.
And not only that, Joe. Like I told him in the huddle one time, I said, look, I don't need layups. AAU basketball last year, you driving, yeah, that's a layup. But now you're going in and people can probably block your shot with ease. They rotating better. So now you need to work on your floater, your pull-up jumper, or the kick out. So the speed.
Game,
Yeah, but the speed and the decision making is what you got to put together as you get older.
Right. John Domingo Ortiz put something in there in Spanish. That's Cinco.
Yeah, he appreciates you and me of the training because of his son Brian Vargas, aka Cinco. Yeah, gracias, papá, gracias.
John, you need to translate that, man.
I just did, man.
Yeah, that don't sound like you said all that.
Hey, he just put a lot more love into it. He just put a lot more love into it.
You leaving something out. I believe
Dre,
I
you
believe
left
you say
out a whole
something about
bunch
an
of stuff.
asshole.
Nah. Hey, as long as he didn't say asshole or negative, we good, bro.
Hey,
Hey, but that's the whole point of it, you know. So like I always worry about it because for me doing developmental or doing skill development, you know, this was my busiest part. This is usually my busiest part of the year. What's crazy. Here's what's crazy. I had about 20 pro and college kids all summer. About 20 of them. And they were in the gym every single day.
Basics.
From May until August, late August, they were in the gym every single day. If we shut down the gym, they were like, look, can we come in extra so we can get some shots? These people that's making money, these people that have scholarships, I have them in the gym more than I had the kids that's supposed to be working on their game, that's trying to get to where they are. And it's amazing to me to see these guys in there and these girls in there working on their game, preparing themselves. So not only do they have a job, but they can keep that job.
But not only this, Chris, because I got a feeling you're gonna pause again, so I'm gonna help you out. Not only this, like those guys that was in there who play overseas, who making good money, like it wasn't nothing fancy in the training. It was
the same thing everybody else do.
Same thing. And when people talk about training that we do or that you do or whatnot, like people are making money coming to you because they want to tune up the basic skills so they can get comfortable, the repetition that we're talking about. So no, and I was there, I seen it. And these people are getting some good money.
I'm gonna give you two kids that I've known Torlin, and I had Torlin at IMG with me for a little bit. So I've known Torlin since probably 7th grade. Torlin Fitzpatrick, Ron Anderson, my first time working with him. First thing they said was, man, this was one of the best summers we've ever had. And it's not, listen, my thing is just to throw things out to them to help them get better. I enjoy being in the gym with them. But I also did it because we were doing camp and kids got a chance to see how these pro and college kids work. And so they use their off season to get better. So what they would do is they would train Monday to Thursday and they would play on Friday. That's about right. Well, it's backwards for these kids. They play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and they may train on Monday.
Right.
Like it's totally different. When do you have a chance to get work on your game? Like when do you have a chance? Now, these are pro and college kids that are working on their game. So when do these high school kids have a chance, and middle school kids, and elementary kids have a chance to work on their game? They help them be fundamentally sound. They have a strong foundation. So possibly one day they can get to where these college and pro kids are.
Yep.
I know my kid will be in the gym with you on Wednesday, so that's when he gonna get hit on Wednesday. All right, so let's move on. What you got?
Go ahead. No. I would say, they were there with me. They were there with me this summer.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move on to our new segment called In the News Feeds. So I'm gonna play a video for you guys, something that we saw in the news feeds, and let's talk about it. So
man, I hope it's not me yelling again. God damn, hold on.
This dude here.
He had the camera out last night. Shit.
Right. Here we go. In the news feeds. All right. On the screen. Let me know when y'all see it.
It's coming up.
This is brought to you by Monkey Shoulder. Monkey Shoulder is the advertisement marketing person for this
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, so here it is. Here's the video.
Oh, I seen this.
All right, let's run it again.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so run again.
Hey,
All right, so that's a video from Tampa Catholic a couple years ago. It came up on. I saw it.
that ain't no couple years ago, but
It's not.
last year.
I thought I saw Broom in there.
Yeah, last year,
Okay.
2020.
Okay. So, but yeah, so it was a video from then. A guy gets in the game, probably don't play much at all. I think they were blowing the team out. He gets his shot blocked, and the bench laughs at their own teammate. I was looking in the comments. There were some coaches that had a problem with that. As a coach, what do you guys think about that? You up by 40.
I'm going in. I'm going in. And I'm gonna go hard. What?
As a coach, right?
Woo!
So what
Just don't do that. Hey, here's the thing. Check this out. And I do it all the time. When you see crazy dunks in the NBA, like when people get dunked on, I look for the reaction of the people on the bench, the opposing bench, the person that got dunked on. I look for the reaction of their bench because I feel that's the person, those are the people gonna get fined. Because if you that's a lack of disrespect. Like you don't want that. Like I would be pissed as a coach. I would be hot. I might be running bitches to this day. Oh, take that out. That.
Oh, you talking as you being the opposition coach?
No. The kid who got his shot blocked.
Oh, you coaching that team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm
the
mad
key,
because
I'm the devil's advocate.
There you go.
You said they were up 40, and the kid hardly ever plays. Now, me personally, I'm gonna get on his ass because you should have ball fake. Ball fake stop by.
Straight up, Trey.
I'm gonna get on it, but at the same token, you up 40 and there's a kid that don't hardly ever play, and you can see why, because he didn't have that ball fake in his game. But I'm gonna get on his ass, and it's okay for them to do what they did because they're up 40, and this is just as a kid that don't hardly play that much. That got his shit blocked, but I'm gonna get on the kid that got his stuff blocked.
Now, I don't know if he don't play a lot. I mean, that's just what it looked like to me. Just I don't know who
He might have been a freshman.
Yeah, so I've been on both ends of it. You know what I'm saying? I've had coaches, the coaches that I had, like my high school coach, if we did that, he would have killed us. My JUCO coach, if we did that, he would have killed us. Mike Hanks at St. Leo, I mean, he would have went in on us, you know what I'm saying? But I've been in the pro-am and me and Eric Hayes have probably done that. You know what I'm saying? Like we probably done that to one of our teammates and laughed about it. As a player, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But we knew that when we was with our high school teams, our college teams, we probably would take a different stance. But playing in the pro-am, like think about your pro-am team. If something happened, I could see Sharp doing that. You know what I'm saying?
But you talking about a pro-am team? We talk.
Yeah.
Yo, I remember I got dunked on in the pro-am. Listen, I got dunked on hard, and them jokers looked at me and they said, they were like, "We need a timeout." They were clowning me, dog. Like,
But that's the pro-am though. It's
that's
like
the pro-am.
nobody don't really play that hard.
We talking about fans. We talking about fans at the game. We talking about high school games, sitting on the bench. Like you can't. That can't happen. If that happened in the NBA, you might get some fines.
But let me ask you this: two things. How do you think the kid felt? And this video popped out. How do you think the coach felt when the video went out this time around? Do you think he even cared?
I'm sure Coach Zago got on their ass for that, or you know what I'm saying. I mean, I know he I don't think he would let that fly. You know what I'm saying, but how the kid felt. I mean, I don't know. Like, you know, they do that to each other now. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, look.
Exactly. And the key word once again is they were up 40. I'm pretty sure if it was a tight game or what have you, that reaction wouldn't be like that.
Right.
I mean, I agree with Dre. He should have pump faked. But
There you go. That's that BS, dog.
no, I agree. He should have pump faked. But you don't want to be labeled as a team like that. Like sometimes, even with my fifth graders, if they're clowning around, like say in the warm-ups, and a kid shoot an air ball, they joking around, and I'm in their ass. So it's
That's
like,
that's before the game.
but it's a time and a place. Like that's your if that's your team, I think it kind of takes away from your culture, or it tells me what type of character y'all got in a sense. Now, I might have been one of those guys laughing when I was a kid, so I get it. But it's in the outside looking in, it doesn't look great. I'm not saying it was wrong or right. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah, we
I would
definitely.
have ran a shot on.
Yeah, we
Hey,
definitely
but
put
this
that
is
in
a
cover
true
our
story in college. When I was at West Kentucky, we playing University of Texas El Paso. So they fans are horrible. They sit there with the newspaper, they crack jokes on the coaches and the players and all this type of stuff. So when you sitting there, you hear that, and we not playing that, but so we hear that some of the stuff that they were saying was funny. So we have to kind of chuckle to ourselves, look at the coach, chuckle, make sure he don't see us
Right.
laughing or what have you. But they had a mascot that was in the stands delivering pizzas. And he was coming down the stand and fell all the way down to the floor. And that was it. It was about 4 of us on the bench. Coach called us, but he came down there and got on our head, but that was funny as hell, man.
Look, the coaches, my high school coach and my JUCO coach, man, when they would get on you, like, not when it ain't funny when it's happening to you, but when
Right.
your teammates, man, the shit was like a comedy, but you better not laugh, bro. Like you better not get caught. We couldn't laugh at this stuff. I'll tell this story right here because Gerald watches this podcast, So to Smoke. We were playing Robertson. This is our junior year. It was at halftime. And Coach Stevens, God bless the dead, was getting on Gerald. And Gerald tried to talk back, and Coach had the water bottle. And when he started talking, Coach squirted him in the face with a water bottle and said, "Shut up." But then he said, he always had a towel on his shoulder. So he grabbed the towel and said, "Now wipe that shit off." And we couldn't laugh, bro. And the person from the yearbook was in the locker room when that happened. And I'm gonna put this picture up next joint, man. I might put it up when we run it on YouTube. And you see, and we couldn't laugh, but the person from the yearbook, you got Mo with his head down, you got me like this right here, like you can see, and then you see Gerald with the towel wiping his face off. And we couldn't laugh at that, bro, but it was funny because they caught it in the yearbook. That's the kind of stuff we had to do. So as a player, I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have probably been, about to laugh too. But also, too, I've had coaches that didn't play that, so.
Yeah. It's a form of respect for your teammate.
Right.
Hey, in the high area, you couldn't get dunked on, boy. You get dunked on, boy. You might not laugh during that game, but after the game, locker room,
you gonna cry?
No,
what you getting?
Film session. Coach gonna make sure he show that in film session. He gonna show it in film session. And Ward, what were you doing? You're supposed to be there faster. Boom.
Yeah.
And he showed it 6 times happening. But you laugh on that bench, it's over.
All right, so the final word. Let's see who got the final word, man. I kind of like what John was talking about, man. What's the final word, man?
What was I talking about?
About the development of playing.
Oh yeah. I mean, parents got to understand. I mean, the whole thing for me is that I love when kids play the game the right way. Win or lose, you play the game the right way. That's what it's about. When you get into individuality, one-on-one, over dribbling, that's not basketball. I don't care what the highlight reel says. But I also agree with train hard and then tie it into some games and do the things correctly. Like development is key. Like if you just want to play, you can go play at any park, but train hard, tie it into the game, and do both. And then I think that's where your game will elevate.
All right, that's the final word. We are out.
Peace.
The Final Word podcast, where our hosts will share their unique perspective on social issues, youth sports, and sports in general. The Final Word.